we're going to be bringing you B vs kiljardi. That's right, non-stop action over here. Sokoton, thank you for being with me here once again, and going to be starting off strong as we're going to be observing Boldland here with the Malians against the French from kiljardi. And it's going to be an interesting one, as kiljardi with the French, we know him to be a very aggressive player, and French definitely fitting the role with that one, though it is a pretty hard matchup.
Yeah, I was going to say, kiljardi going with all the... Oh, look at his draft picks. I'm like, Zushi against Malians feels like it loses a lot. French doesn't feel great. He's going with it here. He obviously being aggressive. It's no surprise to see him have, you know, French, Jeanne d'Arc, and Mongols, as well as Ottomans can be pretty aggressive as well. His draft, you can see the playstyle in the draft, but unfortunately for him, he's gonna be battling kind of uphill against B's Malians. That's quite the first draft pick to go against. I'm not sure what else kiljardi would have had in the tank that could beat Malians. Maybe Byzantines would go pretty well into that, but yeah, he's got his work cut out for him, but he likes to be aggressive. So the question then remains is, can he be aggressive enough to slow Malians down? And with those Donzos being able to chuck their spears at horses as they run by, we'll find out. We'll find out in just a minute time as to how kiljardi will measure up against B's Malians.
Exactly. This is going to be an interesting one for sure. Now, you didn't mention other choices. Mongols could have been a choice here for him, but Boldland just typically, historically, it's one of those maps where you want to go for a pro-scout civilization, and what better pro-scout civilization than the French themselves that just excel at that task more than much any other civilization. Now, B is the question here. Is he going to be pro-scouting as well? He does have some nice tools when it comes to pro-scouting with the Malians, courtesy of those warrior scouts in combination with pro-scouts. So those warrior scouts, they're something where you typically will need to find an answer to. You can't just, you know, try and make more scouts and out-scout your opponent. Those warrior scouts will definitely beat out yours. French can, of course, go for their own knights, but against a civilization with Donzos, that is still like a whole nother can of worms. We'll have to see exactly how this one is going to be played out, as we'll be jumping into our game number one now. Just a couple of seconds. B against kiljardi here. That's the moment.
Any second now. Any second. Hold.
Any moment now.
Almost there, and go.
There we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for some nan bread here. Okay, we've been rushing a little bit too much. Some time.
Hold.
Some mill. Interesting placement here from kiljardi. Been placing the mill just next to his TC. Probably just wants to get the wheelbarrow upgrade in as quickly as possible. Typically, we do still see it placed on the berries.
kiljardi's probably
playing the French, like, it's so cheap. Might as well place another mill there later down the line.
I imagine he's thinking, berries? I don't need berries here. We're not going for the berries. We got our eyes set on deer for sure, as we see that wheelbarrow immediately getting set up. So obviously he is planning on getting the most value out of that as he can. And I would imagine that kiljardi goes for pro scouts here. I can't see a world where he doesn't. And then again, he might surprise us, but that just kind of screams a pro scout build.
Now, B could also go for pro scouts, but doesn't necessarily need to, just because with the Malians, of course, the cattle income is going to be plenty as the game goes on.
Okay, I'm glad the overlay is getting adjusted there. I was really looking at it going, man, the colors aren't matching what I feel like I'm saying, but I know that kiljardi was the one who had French. Okay. Shout out to the production team for fixing that out. I was looking at it feeling like I was having a stroke. I was just very confused for a second, being like, wait, it was kiljardi with the French last I looked. Sure.
We're also back now to our nice professional overlay here as well, telling us all the information at a glance, so we can always check out just how many cattle B has invested into at any given point in time.
Looking at the spawns here, that gold being kind of forward is a bit rough for B. You imagine he probably like that maybe back to the side. He obviously has that gold way in the back pocket corner, but it's kind of far away.
That's a very nice one. Ooh. Able to sneak away that one sheep there.
Few things feel
Unlucky.
worse than when you're thinking you're gonna get the sheep and then yoink, it goes the other color. And you're just like, wait a minute, what? I was right there. I was clicking. I swear it comes down to who clicks harder.
He's gonna get those two there at least.
Yeah, it makes up for it.
So all in all, still somewhat even. Take and give in parts. But no overly grotesque advantage here for any player. School of Cavalry and Massacre now being built up by those two, so those are going to be the feudal age ups here of choice for these players. Still a little bit early here to get a grasp of the exact game plan that these players are going to be going for. Kiljardi did just send a couple more villagers over to Wood. He's going to be going for that pro scout. We also see an early mill coming in for B, so it might be that we are actually going to be getting that pro scout versus pro scout play here.
Yeah, definitely something viable that we can't forget that Malians can do. They definitely have the option to go for pro scouts as well. It feels like it's difficult to do against French, given that the knights are just so much more powerful. But if you get a couple Donzos out with it, you can get your fair share of deer as well.
This is definitely would be working quite well there. B now having reached the age up. What is Kiljardi's immediate plan here? No, we're actually getting a very, very early cow. So maybe not pro scout, but rather just an immediate cattle boom from B.
Yeah, and maybe the wood's going to be used probably for a barracks, I'd imagine. Maybe he's just going to get heads up on the Donzo production.
First knight now in queue for Kiljardi. And we do indeed have that first barracks now coming in for B. There's still a couple of sheep out on the map that could be found by players. I do believe they're probably in the bottom corner of the map. I think that's where players haven't been at so far. No, actually, it must be in the mid-map over here. Well, there must be sheep somewhere.
There gotta be somewhere. Where are they? Oh, there's one.
Oh, there's one
in the woods.
One is hiding there in the wood line. Ooh. Okay, that's one of them.
Sneaky sheep.
So sneaky, yeah. Does get found eventually. But in the end, B has found a good couple more here compared to Kiljardi.
That's like double the amount of sheep. I would say that is statistically significant. Which is going to necessitate pro scouts even more for Kiljardi. As we see, he's halfway up anyways. He's going to really need those. That first drop-off is going to matter. There's the first knight. He should be able to take care of that.
He's going to be able to kill at least one of the Donzo. Isn't quite going to get it, but Donzo is now low on health. Knight doesn't take too much damage here as well.
And Donzos, this is one of those matchups that as French, it just feels kind of rough because they just have the exact units to counter what you want to make. You know, they make the Donzos, which are really good in the Knights, of course. And then they've also got the Javelin throwers. So when you want to add in archers, it just doesn't feel good because they've got the counter. The tricky thing is that Malians don't have a lot of mobility early. So that is the one thing French does have. But eventually when Sofa get added in, they can raid with that as well. It's not a super comfortable matchup for French. You really got to find a way to get a lot of value done, as we see right here. Kiljardi getting first blood of the match and of the series with a villager killed right on the wood line.
Probably important to win these couple of early little trades here. When you're up against the Malians with their pretty rapidly scaling economy, we do already have 3 cattle in at this point in time. Oh, one of the knights does get picked off now, though, by the Donzos. Kiljardi is actively ferrying the steer back.
And that scout's a little low health, too. Now, with the Warrior Scout upgrades, B able to do quite a bit of damage to Kiljardi's scouts, making it hard. And this is what you got to do as your Malians, right? You just got to slow this down a lot. The more you delay it, the more time you give yourself to get those cows rolling. And the delay, you can't really deny it outright, but the delay is so crucial here. And we do see B is making Sofa behind this in Feudal Age.
Feudal Age Sofas can be quite good. Now, there's one issue with them. You can't really heal them up. So in engagements, charge and like hit and run engagements up against knights, as long as chivalry has been researched, the knights are always going to be faring better. But the Sofas are a good bit cheaper. And nowadays, with recent buffs, also a very, very solid unit just overall to make up against the French. You just have to be wary about, you know, how you take engagements with them. You do have additional movement speed on them, so you should always be able to really choose when and where you want to take engagements.
Yeah. And we do now have Kiljardi now has professional scouts of his own. So suddenly that delay matters all the more, and that now you can deny pro scouts a little bit by just yoinking them yourself. And we see Kiljardi does have quite a couple of scouts out and about, and they are warrior scouts, so they deal extra damage. These guys are not pushovers.
Yeah, B with the warrior scouts now able to deny them from Kiljardi is quite nice. Also with the added mobility here. With the Sofas, is going to be able to really keep Kiljardi on his toes. Same time though, the archers, this is one of the weaknesses of the Sofa. They only have 2 ranged armor, so in Feudal Age they're not as tanky as they will become later on in Castle Age with imported armor. Strength at the moment is quite deceiving. You can't realistically mass them up against mouse archers.
Sofa raid, not getting a whole lot done here. Losing the Sofa, maybe 2 to the tower. No, not quite. Not close though. And yeah, like you said, for B, these Sofa, they're decent. You can pick his engagements, but there's no way to heal them in Feudal Age. And so, the value is capped essentially as to how much you can really get out of them.
Still just chasing past those couple of Sofa. We're up to 6 cattle now. Kiljardi's also 5 villagers ahead. Not the biggest difference at the moment between them.
I mean, you calculate, like, with a full cow boom, that's like plus 20 villagers, right? So, you get that. If you can start getting the relics, you're in a pretty good spot as Malians if you're B, if you can do that in Castle Age. He's got this Sofa play is really interesting. He's definitely trying to deny this for the pro scouts as best he can. He's definitely slowed it down. We see the scout getting close. Might go down. It does. And even that knight can't really hang out too long.
Gonna be able to kill one of the war. Oh, never mind. Isn't gonna be able to kill one of the scouts there. Okay, just a little bit too early. Knight has to be careful. If he's not getting pulled back, he is gonna lose his life and will lose his life indeed. Moment destruction value does favor B quite a fair bit. B, he is still very actively trying to deny these deer from getting ferried over. It does pay a lot of attention to that. Military mass is starting to really weigh heavily here in B's favor. These knights also getting very, very low health-wise now. This one knight should be getting charged down now on the retreat.
Excellent pickup.
Oh, is Kiljardi gonna get pinned here? Ooh. Oh, the path. How am I gonna? How does the path thing? Why? Why is it doing that? Oh my God.
Wow, what?
Gonzo? Oh, he's gonna lose that knight.
He loses all but 1 right there. More behind this, of course, so he can't hang out for too long. But yeah, he lost a lot on there. Huge pickups, and this gives B time to build up behind this. Now up to 8 cows. He's halfway there, and just still picking off scouts and slowing down the deer. This is huge because he's slowed this down enough that Kiljardi's actually at a risk of running out of food underneath the town center. In fact, I think he's onto the berries now. We just scroll to the north side of this town center that we're looking at right here. I think the,
berries.
He built another mill.
Just he's been idled out a little bit too much there on the deer.
This is why it's so important to slow this down, because berry gathering doesn't, if you're moving on to berries to keep up your night production, that does not feel very good. And these Sofas suddenly looking pretty scary. Another knight goes down. Probably another couple knights going down. I honestly would be okay if I'm B, trading out these Sofas for these knights. Gets another couple. He lost that trade a little worse than he'd probably like, but
I think
Excellent
this was
damage
quite
done.
the comeback at the moment there for kiljardi. Like, he just got a lot of value in there on his side. Still getting denied on the pro scouting, though, and this is his last scout. He's actually going to have to remake some scouts there if he wants to continue pro scouting now.
Yeah, I think it was a good fight, but I think the grand scheme of things, it puts him behind because he's fighting in his base, and he's got to remake those, and the food income is getting very... kiljardi's afloat, but it's definitely getting taxed by this. Having to remake those definitely hurts, and if you're B, you just want to slow things down, so every trade you can make, even if it's not the best trade, in the long run, is still going to look really good for you. I think B is eating cows. He's down to 7 now of 20. Did he pop a cow out somewhere? Or did one of those pens get burned down? Down to 6. He's running. Where are the cows going?
I think he killed one of the cow just to gather from it. Yeah, indeed, there are some cattle carcasses here. Just because he doesn't want to move out onto the map. Instead, decides to just eat a couple of them. That's the added benefit when you're playing as the Malians. If ever you need like something for your villagers to do, you can just pop a cow out and eat it yourself. Grandfather on the corral now. It's gonna catch kiljardi a little bit off guard. I don't think he was expecting the age up. Then again, he does have quite a bunch of knights still available to him.
I guess, for my mind, I'm trying to think of the calculus. I'm thinking that B's thought process here was he needs the age up to get these sofas up with imported armor. That way they can actually take some more fights against these knights. Which is why he's willing to sacrifice part of his cow boom.
Look at what B is doing. He's aging up and immediately queuing double sprinkled emplacement. He's fearful for the retaliation. And is just getting 2 sprinkled emplacements in immediately. Where did he be getting the stone from? Did he actually actively gather stone somewhere? No, he didn't. He's got a market. He's been buying stone. He bought like 300 stone for this.
That outpost is probably going to go down.
Fortress should evacuate in time. That's a lot of knights now.
Imported armor just seconds away from clicking up. However, I don't think B quite has the numbers yet to want to contest those knights. Sofa upgraded with imported armor actually do really well against French feudal knights. The tricky thing is there's the guild hall. He's going to have a fairly narrow window where that's the case. Where before those knights for the French side for kiljardi end up being castle age. And then you just kind of feel like you want to give the edge back to that.
Yeah, even then with the charge and the healing, it's... not really something that you're gonna want to go for.
Yeah, it's not a winning play, especially when they're all the same age. But even up in age, it's you can win the fights, but gotta be mindful. You don't want to lose too much as those villagers getting me off the berries, running away from the sofa. Or sorry, yeah, that's from the sofa. Ooh, that's a good find though.
More out of time. Back in time though. Power of having that wheelbarrow in time. Villagers here on the gold also just able to, you know, just run through the gate and be fine that way. But with imported armors in, the archers aren't really going to be able to do too much here. As we can see, their fire is just tickling even the very, very weak, low health sofas that are remaining there. And the sofas are just diving the TC here now from kiljardi. He's going to have to run away a little bit here with the villagers, as a couple did get taken down.
The good outcome for this,
great overall.
The good outcome in this is that you idled out literally half the eco for kiljardi for a good 30 seconds there. But hopefully getting a couple more vill kills if you can before he gets out. That one sofa trying to do some damage. A lot of weak villagers, but not a ton of dead villagers. You know, the one thing I'm getting nervous about
here.
One thing I'm a little nervous about here is that because B has been eating those cows, he doesn't really have an edge economically moving forward. Like, he could get those going later, but it feels like, man, imagine if you didn't have to eat those. Because really, these knights have been mostly in kiljardi's base. They haven't been raiding for the last 5-6 minutes. I almost wonder if maybe B could have moved out onto a berry pack or something for a little bit.
I'm just gonna say this.
Those cows.
I'm just gonna say this. If you look at how many villagers kiljardi has on gold, I have no doubt in my mind that he's gonna be remaking those cattle very quickly. He's got 29 villagers at the moment on gold, while also bringing back the relics now.
This is true. Man, lots of idle time from Kiljardi. He's got 17 just sitting around on Union break. 24-17. He's trying to keep him up, but at the same time, dealing with these Sofa, very pesky, and finding more Vil kills here. Nice little surround, getting a couple more picked up there. Actually, that's a lot going down. Another 4 or 5 right there.
And now the villager count is not looking too hot here for kiljardi. 51 to 56, and the cattle numbers have started to increase yet again. It's just reacting here on all sides. We're also getting a couple of arballetry in. The archers haven't been upgraded yet. Looks like kiljardi just doesn't really see the reason in upgrading them anymore, as they're mostly just going to be used up against the Dunzos, where you don't really need the veterancy upgrade in order to be able to one-shot with the amount of archers that kiljardi has at the moment. So no, just giving him the runaround with a couple of these Sofas time and time again.
I said it earlier in a different match, but best way to deal with French or JD, bop him on the nose. If you can hit French's economy, like, they want to be raiding you, but if you can flip the script on them and raid them, it just works so well. And obviously it's probably true of every civ that if you could raid them instead of being raided, obviously you're going to be up a lot. But I feel like French doesn't like being on the back foot. If you make French being a defenders, that really says a lot about where you are in the game.
And fight is being taken here. He doesn't have that many, kiljardi rather, he doesn't have that many knights remaining at the moment. The arballetry are doing a solid job up against the Sofas though. I don't think that they've got the gambesons upgraded, and they are being cleaned up in the end now. Barely any knights remaining. The archers aren't really doing too well here. And the issue is, even if you like trade evenly here, it's not an even trade because he's now back up to 12 cattle, and it's a lot of passive income for him.
This is where it gets scary for Kiljardi. And his guild hall is nowhere close to maybe giving him an immediate age up. He wouldn't have the gold either way. So now it's a matter of, can he hold? Can Kiljardi hold?
He's got to keep inside of his base, so with that he is definitely going to be able to hold. He's also getting a sizable discount on his military units. Now the issue is some of these villagers here that have been left behind, it's unlikely that they'll be brought back to safety. Some other villagers here that are a little bit overzealous when it comes to, you know, going back out to work.
Yeah, at this point,
maybe now kiljardi can find the moment to send the villagers back to safety. That's a difficult one. He can't really get anywhere else than the keep reaches, and behind this B, he has collected every single relic on the map and is now also taking up the sacred sites.
Still eating some of the cows, man. He is really just making the most of that. And now up to 20, almost 20 cattle. There we go. There's the number 2019. With the full food economy behind this. Kiljardi at this point, Kiljardi is just waiting for Imperial Age. He's got the food. The guild hall is going to be ticking up. He's going to try and stabilize. We see farms around his base already. If he can hold long enough and then maybe springboard into Imperial Age, there's a window where he could get a lot better. Of course, French has a much better Imperial Age, I believe, than Malians does. The question is, can you get there? Right now, B with an overwhelming military lead. All that Kiljardi has is basically those 8 arballetriers. Thankfully, though, for him, he's got the keep right there, like you mentioned earlier, the production speed, and adding in a second town center, really looking for some economic advantage here. I actually kind of like this. This is sneaky. But is it sneaky enough?
Well, but surely, the guild hall is also building up its resource bank. And this is a way for kiljardi to potentially come back in this game. If maybe now he can find it in him to get the age up in somehow. Already halfway there with the resources if we count the guild hall as well. He's pumping out just so many Sofa at the moment. Really a ludicrous amount at this point in time. He's at 2,000 food per minute. kiljardi could only dream of those numbers at the moment.
That sneaky TC on the north side. How much is that going to pay off here? In a couple minutes, Kiljardi could scratch back into this. He's getting some gold now. That's just a lot of Sofa. I mean, 38 Sofa is a ton.
Yeah, the question is, where can he potentially ever, like, put up a Rack Palace, right? Like, ideally you would want to have it on a gold vein. This one is firmly in the control of B. He's even putting up outposts there, so he's going to have vision all around it.
He found
and
it.
now it's been spotted. Okay, that's...
He found it. Yeah, that's going to be game.
Yeah.
Wow, one little
EGC
spear.
is
What a heads up play by
all
B
it
just to
takes
send
sometimes.
one spear to go scout it out, just to be one little Donzo, just to go double check, be careful, and now the game's afoot, and all these Sofa with 45 Sofa and 8 in the queue. I don't know how kiljardi stays in this.
Those Sofas now collapse onto the Arbaletria. Not able to get the full surround in. It's so few Arbaletria compared to so many Sofa at this point.
I'm gonna be honest, it's been a long time since I've seen Malians lose. They are so good. Wow.
There we go. Sofa did manage to clean up. And the keep, I mean, it's trying, but there's just not enough left. GG comes in. And game number 1 is being taken by B now.
Sofa in overwhelming numbers, and with imported armor, it felt like the Arbs just tickled them, and there really weren't enough to do anything anyways. kiljardi kind of falling down to the power of Malians, and I'm really sitting here though, Crackety, looking at Malians going, man, what matchups are they not good at? Because it feels like time and time again, they are just really, really good on these land maps.
They are. I mean, it's you're never gonna see Malians really picked on water maps anyways, but
No.
In general, on these maps where food as a resource is incredibly important, or like where you might not want to pro scout, but your opponent's going to be pro scouting, having the ability to just boom up with cattle yourself, it's incredibly valuable because so many resources in the end that you're able to get that way. Just like that, I do believe that we're gonna be most likely. There it is. We're going to be looking at the next game. It's going to be Holy Island with Japan versus Jushi's Legacy.
You know, I don't think of Jushi's Legacy as a water civ very often.
Hmm.
Japanese, of course, very good on hybrid maps like this. Pretty good on water. With the Shinobi, that becomes a much more viable play on a map like Holy Island.
Japan, it's one of those civilizations where they are really good on these water/hybrid maps, mainly because you have the capability of just pumping out a whole lot of fishing ships very quickly. The issue is that in Imperial Age Japan, their Imperial Age ship isn't good. It's not good.
Yeah.
Don't make it. The Atakabuna, it is not a competitor at all. Don't make it. Don't get trapped into thinking that you can make it work. You can't make it work. It's just cost-wise and performance-wise, it is so much worse than a normal cannon ship. Just don't do it. Especially when it's up against a Bao-chan with potential Nest of Bees emplacement in Imperial Age. This is truly like a matchup, or in general, when you're playing Japan on a water map, you want the game to finish off in Castle Age at the latest. Yeah, if it gets to Imperial Age and you don't have full water control already, chances are you're going to lose water control.
Yeah, well, I imagine that's what Japanese want to do, and I imagine that's what B is going to be vying for. And in Castle Age, Japanese really can do that, because with Mounted Samurai being as good as they are, you can do a lot with that. And as long with the food economy on the water behind it, you can do a lot. Now that said, I'm curious how kiljardi wants to play with the Zushi here. I feel like Zushi's not a civ I see a bunch on water, especially on this map. I don't think I've seen them played here on Holy Island this tournament yet.
On Holy Island? No, Sushi is for sure like one of the most picked civilizations on water on Holy Island in general, because Jushi's Legacy, yeah, you get the Meditation Garden and you have a lot of, you get the best ship in Imperial Age, you get Jugunu without needing to go Song Dynasty, so you have a really strong land unit right off the bat. Get the Meditation Garden, you get a discount on your age ups. Like, Jushi's Legacy is one of the most vied for civilizations in general at the moment in the current meta, and especially on water as well, it is one of the top contenders. I think if you're gonna make a tier list for water civilizations, there's like its own tier for Knights Templar, and right below that is Jushi's Legacy first.
Really? You put it right at first, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Kao even says Jushi beats KT on water, no cap. Trust for sure. But Knights Templar is still more valuable. Like, even if Shuji beats Knight Templar on water, Knights Templar still overall has way stronger matchups on water, like if you count them all. So even if that was the case, Knights Templar is still like the better civilization overall. And I don't trust that take in the first place, so that's that.
I guess maybe the thought is I just feel like we've seen Zhu Shi picked so often against other maps for other matchups because it's also so good in other spots. I just feel like I haven't seen it a whole lot on Hoi An, but I'll take your word for it as we dive in here to game number 2.
Here we go, kiljardi playing as the Zhu's Legacy. Against B with the Japanese. First dog is going to be placed by B here in just a second. Just need 10 more wood for it. kiljardi at the moment. Ooh, the village play. Okay, the village play does kind of tell us that kiljardi is going to be going for a fast feudal age play. Now, this is something that Annotant has popularized quite a bit. It's that on water, on hybrid map of Zhu's Legacy, like you don't even build a mining camp. Instead, what you do is use a mechanic called tax evasion, where you just drop off a whole lot of food time and time again with your villagers to accrue tax inside of your mill. That way, you don't even need to make a mining camp. And as I say that, I do see a villager running out to build a mining camp for kiljardi. And he is still going to be building a mining camp, so he's going to be building it, aging up normally. But the thing is that with Zhu's Legacy, you're going to have a really, really great timing when it comes to your feudal age. And with that, you don't even need to really invest into water before the feudal age. You can instead get the age up in, build a dock immediately, like really close to your opponent's base, and try and kill all of their fishing ships before the age up even comes into play for them. You might be able to get an archer ship and a sprinkled ship out onto your opponent's side of the map before they're able to get their first ship out. That way, whichever ship they choose to pump out first, it's immediately going to get countered out. And you can kind of like get into a checkmate type position up against your opponent that way.
I love how many sheep are on this map as well. Feels like there's a lot of food to be had. As we see our sheep counter, 21-14. Wow. A great haul for kiljardi there. There's a couple left unattended, and I'm not sure where they are. Looks like maybe 2 more out there.
Oh, is that a good one?
Is
it actually in range of like the other stone as well? That would be kind of massive. I don't think if it actually reaches all 3 stone veins, and that's kind of incredible, because with that you can actually like afford a naval emplacement every 2 minutes. That's kind of huge. He does see it, so maybe it's in range. Like, this is a really, really strong meditation garden here from kiljardi. But there is a spearman actually coming up. Oh. Wait, where's that spearman? Okay, never mind. It's still quite a bit away. I don't think it's going to be in range.
By the scout. No.
Yeah, that's the issue. And one is like orange and the other one is red.
Hard to tell.
We already have a colorblind observer, so that doesn't make it better.
I'm not even colorblind, and sometimes it can be kind of hard to tell.
Buddy, sending another villager out now. That's a difficult one. The landmark gonna go up. He's gonna have to pull another villager back. Villager, he's committed. He's committed.
It's dead.
That villager is gonna go down, and this one is also gonna go down. It's quite some heavy losses here now. He even blocking the villager on the retreat. That's 2 vills down now for kiljardi. But I mean, he did get like a great meditation garden up, but definitely not worth it. And the main issue here as well behind this is that this play with the Dark Age Spearman has actually denied kiljardi from dropping a dock. Like, the fast feudal age into the dock play has been completely denied now.
Man, that feels really, really rough. B with the excellent micro too. Can we talk about that scout body blocking, man? That's not easy to do correctly. Manages to get that off, kills the 2 villagers, and he's going for the fun factor. I mean, actually, this actually makes a lot of sense on this map, on a water map. But Koga Township, we are going to get ourselves some shinobi. Get ready for your ninjas. It's going to be a fun one here, as B is looking really good. about 5 minutes into this game, and which sometimes it's hard to tell if you're going to be up a lot in 5 minutes. I would say B is in a very comfortable position right now, though.
Do we have some Jugunu coming in now? Looks like it's not. Yeah, the meditation garden isn't quite in range of that third stone vein. I think it could have actually been placed in range of it.
I think you're right.
A little bit more
over a tile.
Kiljardi's also moving out with the villager, and look at what he's doing. He's just sitting there next to the boar, anticipating it, waiting for it to happen. And the Jugunu is gonna suffer the wrath of the boar now.
Insult
no,
to
the
injury.
villager. Kiljardi, what? He's got to react to this.
And that boar almost got the Jug too. That's actually really close.
And he's already got samurai. He's getting shinobi out on the field, and is the villager just gonna die?
It might be. One hit and it's dead.
Oh,
doesn't get it off.
But now there's the samurai.
Away.
Oh, what a horrible game for Kiljardi.
It always feels bad when you get
not
behind
what you like to see.
on a game like this, where it's like a checkmate position and you just got like 1 or 2 units making the difference. It feels so bad. And here is the junk coming in, the archer ship, not gonna let anything come up here anymore. And now Kiljardi in a really difficult position. I'm starting to think this could be checkmate.
Shinobi now, at least the Jugunu are gonna be able to do great up against them. And B doesn't actually have, like, that many fishing ships. He's only on 2 fishing ships at all at the moment. Does, of course, have that one archer ship, which is now damaging that that dock. Dock is gonna get destroyed, and or rather is getting cancelled. Kiljardi, he's got a lot of wood in the bank to play with. So could, in theory, start going into other types of units as well. This is quite awkward at the moment for Kiljardi. He's building a lot of resources, but not quite sure what to invest them into.
Yeah, he's got nothing to really buy, nothing to spend it on right now.
Oh, look at this! He wants to go for another attempt on the dock play, but now he's getting caught out by the horseman switch up from B. He's trying to double dock drop.
Oh man,
but it's been
is that
scouted
ever gonna
out.
Happen? It's loading almost 800 food. That feels so bad. Like, and you need to be spending it because your opponent's just kind of running you around. And that fishing eco hasn't really gotten crazy just yet, but he's got 5. And B has the edge, and he's gonna just kind of keep pumping him out here and there, little by little. He doesn't need to get ahead by a ton for this to still be checkmate.
Well, the horsemen arrive. We do have double barracks at the moment in the base from Kiljardi, so he's gonna have the answer to that. Nobi is getting the kill up against that Jugunu there. Will get taken down by the ships.
Him. Yeah, they're not having anything of him. They're sick of those ninjas. Trying to think of what Kiljardi can do to get back into this game. The fishing eco from B is a huge problem, and that's just kind of the elephant in the room now, is even if you start winning fights on land, how the heck do you catch up the water eco? Because you know that B's never going to let you get back on the water without a massive fight.
At the moment, massing up Jugunu and Spear, and to be fair, that's the only thing that he can really do at the moment behind this B. Just had an explosive growth on water when it comes to the economy. Now up to 9 fishing ships, and Kiljardi is trying once again to expand out on the water. It's just so difficult for him, as pretty much everything that B is trying to do is just keep him off of that water the entire time. Or has been the bane of his existence. Oh no, the villager! Oh god.
Oh man, that boar has just been relentless. Paid actor for B. Yeah, I'd be willing to bet a couple dollars that doesn't go up. Yeah. Unless maybe. He's got some spears there.
I'm going for an outpost rush instead. I mean, he does have a lot of stone, but the villagers
Oh man.
are going to stay alive, and he is actually going to get some good kills instead on them. Oh, one villager is still there.
One remains. Can one villager alone do it? Maybe that outpost will go up, but man, it was not easy.
And kiljardi's aging up. Kiljardi's aging up behind this. The Mount Luke Academy is coming in.
I mean, he kind of
The
has to,
outpost
right?
going up, though. Age up's been reached. I'm surprised that he went Mount Lu instead of the Charlotte Monastery. At least that way he could have gotten in the relics, but now at least he's going to be able to use all the stone that he's gotten for a sprinkled emplacement, so he's going to get like an extra strong emplacement in. That could be a way. Yeah, and he is getting the sprinkled emplacement.
I guess the thought is kiljardi's thinking he has to win soon here. He's got to get those units pumping out. He's got to just really scale as fast as he can.
There's one knight out here now. He's gonna have to evacuate. Ooh, the knight's surrounded. He's gonna get out though.
That feels really fortunate. Being able to wiggle free. You do not want to lose their first of your knights. It's just, you're so far behind. You get your first castle age unit. You gotta let it stay alive to mass up and do something. Losing it on a raid like that would have been brutal.
Kiljardi hasn't gotten the fortification upgrade yet in on this outpost, so better do that soon. This outpost is good. It's kind of squishy still. It does a lot of damage here at the front line. Needs to reinforce it a little bit more. B at the moment doesn't actually have any real gold access here at the moment working for him. He's mass gathering stone at the moment as a means of getting in gold income.
I mean, if he wanted to, he could just start making trade ships. If he really wanted to.
Is he going for the outpost? Yes, he's just gonna burn it down. Not enough here. Fortification was just too late. He could have gotten it way earlier. Ah, poor kiljardi is gonna lose the outpost that he invested so much into. Get that up.
And bad break after bad break. kiljardi just can't get anything to go his way. B is just kind of running him all over the map ragged. There's not much that he can do, and he's just not getting lucky either. You know, there's a little bit element of like getting lucky and timing things right, because they don't know as much as we know, seeing the whole picture. But man, nothing has really gone kiljardi's way in this series so far.
It's been
the boar
quite an unfortunate turn of events here so far. Trading out up against the horseman now, though, does have a good couple of knights. Doesn't have any Pierce armor upgrades, but without the Yumi Bannerman, the archers here are still only going to be doing 1 damage each to these knights, so these are still fights that kiljardi could easily take. Only a couple of spearmen, so overall still not the worst position here for kiljardi. The issue is that he still needs to protect his gold villagers as well at the same time, though.
Oh man, there's nobody home.
Become a bit awkward.
Nobody home, and all those vills have to run for the hills. Well, they're walking for the hills. No wheelbarrow yet.
I'm not going to be going out to the deer now from the looks of it. kiljardi is going to have to evacuate them here now inside of the base. Luckily, he does have the villagers working for him, so he is going to be able to have all of them safe and sound. And behind that, he is trying to go for some raids as well. Economy count not looking too hot, though, as B is still on that 12 fishing ship count at the moment. There's a lot of spears now.
Not to mention all the idle time that kiljardi's been suffering back and forth here. He's been raided a lot by B, and a lot of villagers walk into the docks, trying to build the docks, getting killed while building the docks. It's been real rough for the economy of kiljardi, and here comes another raid. Thankfully, some lances to deal with that, but this is a pretty good mass from B. More vills getting picked off.
Spearmen in there as well now. Couple of these spearmen. Oh, the Imperial official going down. That hurts a lot. Only 1 Imperial official left now for kiljardi.
And that one's exposed too. It's just sitting right there.
More villagers gonna have to run.
I think I'm ready to call this one. I think this one's over. I don't see how he gets back into this at this point. This is just too much.
It has been over for a while. There were some death throws here, and kiljardi actually, like, kudos to him. He made a couple of really, really solid attempts here. It's just B was on top of it the whole time, and expertly like maneuvered his units to intercept whenever kiljardi tried to go for like a move out onto the map. It's just one of those situations where you're behind and then every other move that you want to make from there on out gets intercepted in time. So the comeback choice, or rather the comeback chance, just has been completely annulled this game.
Man, B just inflicting maximum damage with these Yumi. Goodness, I think he just picked off 3 Vils in the space of a couple seconds, and there's still Yumi running. They're still running after more Vils. This is just getting ridiculous. I mean, what can man do against so much hate? Like, what can you do? You're just getting overwhelmed at this point, and goodness, it just feels like B has just been putting on a bit of a clinic here.
Behind us, he's massing up another big army. He's not even really thinking about Castle Age at this point in time. He's almost doubling the economy at the moment from kiljardi. Still not thinking about the age up instead. He's just gonna be... Look at that, kiljardi, he's forced to evacuate from the deer, instead moving all the way over to B's deer next. Along the top side of the map there now, once again, a lot of units are coming in here. We've got some Palace Guards here to defend, but so many Spearmen veterans. He just researched on the Palace Guard, but it's just too much. kiljardi calls it. That means that we're now 2-0 here up against B for kiljardi.
Yeah, that's one of those games where it's just rough. You just feel kind of rough. You kind of end that one feeling like, man, that just kind of... that. It's one of those games where this game can be really fun to play, and if I was playing against B in this matchup, it just wouldn't be fun. You know, it just feels like everything you do is just behind on the back foot. Everything is going your opponent's way. You're trying to get something going, and you're just getting the door slammed in your face everywhere you turn. That is a tough loss to swallow. Kudos to kiljardi for trying to keep in this one. It's so tough when you lose the game early and get in those weird checkmate positions where you're still kind of in the game. Like, the game's not like technically being forced out as a victory condition, but you just know it's inevitable, and you're just kind of holding out, hoping you can find some way back in. And every single window, door, shutter, trap door, you name it, was closed. B was just not letting anything go for kiljardi's way.
Indeed, and now we're gonna have to look at the next matchup here, and it is going to be on front range. We're gonna be looking at Delhi up against the Ottomans. That is going to be a potential match point now for B, so kiljardi is gonna have to give it his all if he wants to get at least 1 point on the scoreboard here against B, but it is a tough one. It is a tough situation for him, to say the least.
Gosh, losing 2 on that meditation gardens, it just feels so bad. So bad. And then the idle time between trying to swap villagers out as well. It just felt like from the get-go, this was just not kiljardi's game. And it's tough against a player as high-leveled as B. I mean, I don't think anyone would say that kiljardi was favored in this series, in this matchup. B is just that good of a player. But man, when things go that badly for you, you just gotta kind of shake your head and go, ouch, that sucks, and try to regroup for the next game.
Yeah, it's definitely a situation where you need to reset the mental now a little bit, as this is definitely like an uphill situation to try and come back from. To say the least, it's one of those moments where like pretty much everything that could have gone wrong for you in that last game did end up going wrong.
Yeah.
And that does, of course, like affect the mental. It does affect the way that you think about the next game to a certain degree. But now we're seeing Ottomans up against the Delhi here, and I think that's actually a pretty decent matchup for the Ottomans. We typically look at the Delhi, look at their like really strong Ghazi raiders. But the Ottoman with the Spa, he definitely do have a really good counter unit to that, and on top of that, with a Vizier point, they can also dip into the healing capabilities and be able to just heal up their units after a fight. So that is one of those situations where Ottomans, they do have a really nice like combat kit when it comes to dealing with what the Delhi have to offer.
I think in this matchup, I've seen this matchup on this map, and I think we've seen a Kinji be played by Ottomans on this as well. There's a number of things Ottomans can really do that are maybe not the standard meta that would work on this map against Delhi. Delhi has to be really mindful of their food on this one, because the 2 sacred sites you're going for, there's 2, not 3, and one of them's right in front of your opponent, and the other one's way off and up on the top of the mountains in the Rockies. That's a long walk to get there. But then food around your base, you got that back corner that you can rely on. But with Sipahi out and about, it just feels like it'd be kind of dangerous. I think Delhi has to be careful here in their defense. If they can get into Castle Age and get some elephants rolling and get some things going, they could be in a good spot. But I definitely think this could be a chance for kiljardi to maybe put some pressure to B and see if he can get something to maybe break his way for once. If he can get a little lucky here and get some things going, maybe he can kind of back a B into a corner. But with B being B, it's not ever that simple.
kiljardi is also a player that really synergizes with the spirit of the Ottomans. Like, the Ottomans is just like a really, really aggressive civilization, straight up. And kiljardi, he likes to play aggressive as well. He's the manifestation of all-inning from time to time. Like, he does manifest that kind of spirit. And the Ottomans definitely do feel like the civilization that can offer a lot of avenues into going for that kind of playstyle. I'm going to be interested to see how exactly he's going to be playing this one out. And with the Ottomans on a map like Front Range, where it might sometimes be difficult to secure food, having the option of, instead of securing food, you go for a little bit of wood, you go for a little bit of stone, you add in a military school instead and get units out that way, that could be an excellent way of scaling your military as the game progresses.
Yeah, definitely. And kiljardi, we've talked about his aggression, and it's shown clearly in his civilization draft and his civ choices. He hasn't had the chance to be very aggressive yet. He kind of like made a motion as if he wanted to be on Baldland and on Holy Island. Baldland just kind of blew up in his face, and then Holy Island, he just never got the chance to set up. It was checkmate from the get-go. So I imagine with Ottomans here, he really will want to ramp up the pressure. Of course, if anyone can play Feudal Age, it's going to be Delhi, though. They definitely have the capacity to match the unit production that Ottomans has. But I do agree. I think this is a much better matchup and map choice for kiljardi. This might be his chance to maybe get a game off of B if he can play his cards right. But a lot to be seen. We got 35 seconds before we get to dive in and see how this pans out.
Wondering if it's an interesting mechanic here as well on this map for the Delhi Sultanate, like with one of the sacred sites like being all the way in the top side there with all the stealth forests around. It's very difficult because it takes so long to like maneuver all your units all the way up to that sacred site. So if a single scholar just gets sent over there and your opponent doesn't realize it in time, doesn't have any units nearby, by the time a unit arrives in order to intercept that, the sacred site is already going to be taken up there by the Delhi. Now it is time for us to jump into our game number 3. This is going to be potential match point now for B up against kiljardi. So kiljardi really going to have to bring his A game here now if he wants to get some points on the board and maybe even set himself up for a reverse sweep. As difficult as that is, there's always the possibility for something like that to occur.
That'd be pretty hype, wouldn't it?
It would be.
If kiljardi could come back against B or a reverse sweep, he's got his work more than cut out for him, but that would be incredible. I'm thinking about these two sacred sites. You know, if you just send one Sipahi up to that sacred site on the top part, you'd be cruising. He could easily deny that, but we'll see. It sounds like I just heard the cow moan of disbelief that
typically occurs when something with the UI isn't quite working, and he's like, he's not quite saying, give me a couple of seconds, I gotta fix some stuff before we going into the game, but it means give me a couple of seconds, I gotta fix some things before we go into the next game.
Yeah. Shout out to our production crew, to Vodka, our observer, and for Cal for doing some observing, as well as the work on the overlay of the production quality. There is so much that goes on behind the scenes that viewers might not realize, that it takes a full team to do this and to bring this to you guys. So a lot of planning, a lot of work, and of course we're always grateful for the viewership and all the support we have from the community here. It really makes this thing possible as we wait for them to figure things out.
Yeah, all of this wouldn't be possible without the support from the community. You guys are what makes Age of Empires 4 esports possible, and that is why we very much appreciate all of you being here and watching us cast these games for you. kiljardi, this is gonna have to be the opening of his comeback arc, and he's definitely got his work cut out for himself here, as you said earlier. Like the Ottomans, that is his civilization. That is a civilization that he's very, very proficient with, very strong with. He's gonna have to face off up against the Delhi from B. Now, this is in theory a good matchup, but B with the Delhi, it's always like a very fierce battle to be fought as well, a battle to be won as well, and he's definitely going to have to win this one. this is going to be the start, either the start or the end of his comeback story, so to say. We're gonna be all here for it, so should be able to jump into it any moment now.
I was rebooting the game real quick, so it might be just a minute or so. You guys know how it is. Sometimes the game crashes, sometimes the game does funny things. Cal, obviously, with his computer, trying to keep everything going here for us. At least we have the stream still live. That could be bad. Imagine if we just crashed right now.
You guys did see all the fancy, like, new overlay mechanics and stuff like that going on. You think that's part of the normal Age of Empires 4 experience? I wish. All right, but here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, game number 3 now between B and kiljardi. A little bit of a double overlay situation going on here at the moment, but we'll fix that up in just a second.
I'm seeing double vision right
versus, yeah, it's also Juji versus Japanese in the overlay.
There we go.
There we go.
Classic overlay it is. Might need to shrink the map there a little bit too. Something a little silly going on with that.
Sometimes
we're underway.
Hands just don't fit quite well. You gotta shrink them up. The minimap.
We'll get there. Don't worry, guys. We'll get there.
Eventually. There we go.
There we go. There we go.
Alright, let's see what we are dealing with here so far. Spawn-wise, kiljardi has a pretty nice spawn, back gold and back stone as well. So it's a very comfortable spawn if you want to like invest into some of those military schools. B, he's got the resource mostly on the side, also still very fine. We do already have that early military school here now for kiljardi, starting to produce up some of those units.
I've seen a trend where military schools off the bat, there's kind of like two, pardon the pun, schools of thought here on Ottomans. And one is to drop that military school as early as possible, get as much production out of it as possible. The more it's producing, the more value, etc., etc. But then there's a lot of builds in today's meta that don't do the early military schools and kind of hold that off. Interesting to see the kiljardi going for the old standby, though. Getting right onto the stone, getting that military school right away, getting the first spear popping out as soon as possible. Crackety, what do you normally do? Are you a number one military school kind of guy, or do you like waiting a little bit?
In theory, just the first military school, having that one out immediately, it makes so much sense because it immediately starts paying off for itself. And typically, by the time that you age up to the feudal age, by the time that you hit feudal age, you already have like 3 spearmen out. So at that point, the military school has already like pretty much paid off for itself. And especially against a civilization like the Dala, you're going to want to have at least some spearmen mixed in eventually anyway. So I'm a big fan, a big believer in the military school first opening in most matchups.
kiljardi making the most of that spear there, doing some deer pushing, lest anyone thought it was completely gone out of the game. We do have some pro spears for kiljardi trying to push that close pack, which is admittedly already almost in the base. Trying to get that under his TC. Home of the Faith is no surprise. Yeah, see that? There we go. We'll push the deer a little bit. It just takes a little longer. Come on, you can do it.
It takes a while, you know? Like,
come on, little guy. It's okay. You take your time. There we go.
Hey. There we go. Nice and nestled next up to the TC. An arrow in his back.
Oh, little guy.
Some nice additional food income here, and very necessary since this map barely has any sheep to work with anyways.
There you go. You can still push the deer. It just takes a lot longer. Looks like that nerf has worked for the most part. When they're already on the range of your PC fire, you can get them pushed a little, and that works. So far, it looks like it's a pretty standard opening from both civs. It's hard to say one way or another what's going to happen. Both of these very, very typical builds. This time we see Delhi being played with the mosque coming right away. The House of Wisdom right away. Not House of Wisdom, it's the mosque, right? Am I going crazy? Going with the Faith, and then it's the mosque, right? They produce the scholars, though. Yeah.
There we go. New overlay is back online. We're getting an overview over all the unique things that are coming in for the civilization. Also see that first military school. Kiljardi did Kiljardi did get. The colors are a little bit off still. Looks like Rather B did grab some of the outposts there as well. Points of interest there in order to get some vision in the mid-map.
Everything's green.
There we go.
There we
All
go.
fixed up now.
Everything's green. Always has been.
Looks like Kiljardi's now doing the same thing here with his scout. Trying to uncover some of the mysteries of the land.
And this is so important. This is actually a really big deal. With how much stealth force is up there, they really do need to capture these to have the sight and vision. It really matters so much, because if you want to sneak stuff up and in, I've seen people do this where they sneak their villages out, get onto the deer, get onto the gold. Having these captured and be able to see into the stealth forest, the vision is just paramount.
It's interesting that B's first opening here was the Spearman. Typically with the Delhi Sultanate, even if the opponent starts opening up with Spearman, we still tend to see the Ghazi Raiders typically coming in here, but not going to be the case for B. Maderna also in queue for Kiljardi, probably from that first military school.
First visor point is
Gonna be getting that in. Ooh, look at that. We're getting some interesting walls here early on from B. With the infantry that's actually able to wall.
There's really nothing that can contest this either. And as I say that, there's something there to contest it. So he already has his units out, and he's going to be able to deny this wall and get in there. Remember, they can't see anything. They cannot see that spear, so that archer is just going to be able to walk up next to the tower. They have no vision as of yet.
Oh, he's going to be getting that outpost in now. That's going to provide him with a lot of vision.
And look at the difference. Yeah, look at the difference that makes.
It's pretty big. Just gives you all the information that you need whenever your opponent starts actually moving in that direction. B now also adding in his own archery, so he's going to start producing some archers as well. Kiljardi already has a good army composition out on the field. B, though, already has a good amount of scholars out there as well.
Pro Scouts is in the mix for B. That'll actually be really helpful for him if he can get the food. And that's again, one of those things that Delhi really can struggle with in the early mid-game is running out of the food. Especially on a map like this where there's just such long walk distances to get to everywhere else. He's going to want that, especially against a civilization as aggressive as Ottomans can be. Speaking of aggression, Ottomans looking to take some early fights here in the front of the gold of B.
Ghazi Raiders are also coming in. Sipahi count from Kiljardi also already building up. Kiljardi right now, because we always have to take into account that a lot of the military here from B is actually in the form of these scholars. So Kiljardi right now, he's got a really, really good military advantage at the moment. No sacred sites have been taken yet as well. When we're 8 minutes into the game, typically sacred sites start being captured up around the 7-minute mark. So Kiljardi's already delayed B by quite a bit and building up his own military here. This is working out quite well for him. He's also chasing after the scout there from B and is going to be able to pick that one off as well.
And that's the beauty of the
nice
vision.
Information denial.
Yep, because that scout didn't really see that coming around the wood line, but thankfully for Kiljardi, he sees everything with that tower. That's why getting those early and holding on to them is so crucial for when the map kind of moves up into the Rockies. First visitor point was Anatolian Hills, which I think is a pretty good call on this map. Those Ghazis caught out a little bit. Bahi should be able to keep up with them and eventually do some damage. Those Ghazis really aren't going to be able to afford to dive in and do much damage with Sipahi on their tails. And the archers just doing some chip damage on the side make it really difficult to get a lot of value. B trying to find something here, but not getting a lot.
Kiljardi
with one military school.
There. No second military school yet, but he does have a couple of villagers on stone, so he's going to be adding in that second military school soon as well. Still no move out onto the sacred sites allowed so far.
Yeah, it feels weird being 9, almost 10 minutes in, and no sacred sites for Delhi just yet. That really speaks to how dangerous Ottomans can be in the middle game with how many units they can produce. There's a little gap in the wall I'm looking at because both players are trying to wall these mountains in. There's like a little gap towards kiljardi's side that I kind of like. I kind of want to see that come into play later. We'll see if that matters or not. As a pretty good fight happens on the front of B's base. Looking for some kills. Going to go right into the spears though. This is actually kind of a difficult spot for kiljardi to stand and fight. Scholar's doing some healing. Tapahi trying to get some damage. They're right on top of the spears. It's archer on archer mostly. It looks like the spy are going to start winning out. Once the spears are down, the spy are going to just consume.
The last spearman not being focused down here yet at the moment. The archer kind of starting to thin out a little bit. Healing is also helping B here sustain this quite a bit. Kiljardi is actually going to be the one that's forced to retreat here now.
Those scholars were huge in that fight, keeping the front line alive. That was getting kind of dicey, I feel like, but Scholar's able to heal up the front line, the DPS in the back with the archers for B kind of pulling through.
Still no sacred sites taken so far, and as the game goes on, kiljardi should be slightly favored here with the military school. He also just redeemed the Vizier point, so is now immediately adding in 2 additional military schools on his own side. That will also help him scale a lot better in the future. Comes to his own military, but he is falling behind a little bit when it comes to the overall military out on the field.
That's true, but that's at the expense of B capturing the sacred sites. He has not been able to move out on those. He's mostly been just holed up into his base. I imagine that's going to change here soon as we see the Ghazi Raiders leaving the base, heading forward, looking like the riders of Rohan themselves in the nice, glorious green, heading towards, looks like the southeastern side of the map, but a big fight here on the walls. Those spears are looking pretty weak.
They are going to get picked off now. They just tried to wall off the silo, but that's something that kiljardi absolutely doesn't want to let happen. Some Ghazi Raiders over here trying to find some raiding opportunities. Are potentially going to be able to do so, but there's a backup army from kiljardi here. Attack those villagers, and the outpost is going to buy him plenty of vision there as well.
Yeah, looks like B was just on that a little bit late, had his vision elsewhere as they ran by.
Ooh, the Pro Scouts play. That, of course, is something that's eventually always going to be coming in for the Delhi.
This is where Ottomans start to really look good for kiljardi, is that he's just able to get aggressive and deny things and be on the front foot and kind of put the pressure to B. Because that food insecurity is going to become more and more of a problem as the game goes on. There's what I was talking about earlier, that little gap in the mountains. I want to see that come into play. I always love when those little map features are there. You can, looking at the mini-map, you can tell this is walkable because of the mini-map. It looks like it's open right there. So that should be a walkable path.
It's not quite that simple when it comes to the minimap. Sometimes it looks open, but it's still closed. I'm not sure if this one's actually walkable or not.
I have not seen that. I thought the minimap was usually true to that, so I'll have to go back to the drawing board and do some more practice on that then. Usually that's the case, although to be fair, that minimap spot is awfully close and narrow right there, so maybe you're right there.
He's got a lot of archers, 24 to only 13 from kiljardi. Ghazi count is also looking very, very solid. I'm unsure if kiljardi has enough units here. He also being very active here with the raids on the side. kiljardi's gonna have to pull the villagers away here. Needs to evacuate them together somewhere else. Ooh, that's a matter potentially gonna go down. Doesn't take a lot of bonus damage though. That guy is actually kind of tanky here.
I guess he's not a heavy unit or anything like that. So there's no real bonus damage for the Ghazis to do. They just kind of do their base damage. Yeah. Still, losing it doesn't feel very good for kiljardi. And right now, the numbers are just not looking good. And meanwhile, he's also idling 11 behind in his base. So kiljardi's fallen behind B. I'm trying to figure out what the difference here is. He just doesn't have the military numbers.
Now, a lot of military from B is also in the scholar count still, but archer-wise, he's definitely far, far, far ahead. There's also a couple of spearmen in there from kiljardi, just a couple in the mix. That way, in a clash, the Ghazi Raiders are going to have a straight counter mix in there as well. And still, something that's been really good here for kiljardi is he still hasn't allowed B. Looks like actually you were right. The spot there on the minimap is open, even though it does look close. Sometimes, like, I've seen spots that looked open 100% on the minimap that are still closed off. Looks like he's just sent a couple of Ghazi Raiders out there. What is going to get walled off now, though, with the second layer by kiljardi?
This is going to be a big raid, but I've been burned the other way, where I thought something is closed, and then it shows the mini-map has just a tiniest little pixel, and then I get burned by it all the time. So that's why I said that. So I feel like I've been burned the opposite way so many times. Big fight here happening, though. Spears trying to get onto the Sipahi. Archers kind of body blocking that as the Ghazis fight head-on with the Sipahi. A lot of DPS, though, for B. That's just a lot of archers.
Yeah, but the spearman count has just been reduced to nothing here at the front line. There's still a ton of Sipahi out there. Fortitude now activated, and suddenly this fight is swinging a lot in favor of kiljardi here. I do say that, but now the second wave is coming in of the Ghazi Raider, and it feels like maybe this is a moment in time where kiljardi needs to just focus on the archers, and after that dip out of this fight. I don't think he can stay here indefinitely.
Ooh, those
and he will fall back. It's so important that he's able to keep a lot of these horsemen still alive, a lot of these Sipahi, and he just redeemed the Janissary Vizier points, so suddenly he's got some Castle Age units actually in the army mix, and he just reduced the archer count by a lot. There's pretty much only Ghazi Raiders remaining. Maybe he can double down again?
I think so. I think that's exactly what he's going to do. I think he did exactly what he needed to do. That was an ugly fight, but he cleared off the important units, and that's the DPS of the archers in the backfield. The Ghazis, with what he has as his civ, the arsenal that he's got with the Janissaries, he can take care of those. The archers were the problem when he had spears in the field. Now with those cleared, the archers, only 8 of them, your Janissaries are going to be able to stand and fight under 8. Like, that's not a huge deal. Meanwhile, also a Castle Age from kiljardi. He is aging up behind this. That is huge. Meanwhile, also the Sacred Sites have now been captured for B. Or at least one of them is, and the other's on the way.
Second one about to be captured. But this is a fine moment for kiljardi to let these Sacred Sites slip. He killed a lot of villagers. He managed to go 17 minutes without letting a single Sacred Site get captured up. He's got a solid army. He's now about to take the tech lead as well. And he's already got 3 military schools. He's in a really good spot at the moment.
Those military schools providing so much value. He's got 3 of 4. He's got a lot of villagers on gold, getting those upgrades that he can in. In a couple minutes, he can be in a really good spot. B is still just a long ways away from Castle Age. He'll get the food and stuff in a minute, but at this point, that just gives kiljardi time to bolster his military. Double wall there with the gap still wide. That gap is going to come into play more and more. It is still just wide open. I was hoping it would, and here it is. Sure enough, that is hilarious.
Gap is now going to be coming in, though, on the middle sacred side. kiljardi could definitely just leave 1 unit there in order to ensure that the decap is going to come through eventually. Outposts have been reinforced behind this, but the veterancy upgrades are about to be finishing up.
Outposts, yeah. That tells you how much B needs the food.
Really does. Fight is coming in. Oh, kiljardi, he's not paying attention. Oh no. The Janissaries are getting focused out. 3 already down. 4th one gone. 5th. And only 3 remaining. 2. 1. All Janissaries now gone. And the Sipahi alone. There's still Spearmen in the mix. kiljardi, he can't fight against the Spearmen, even with the Sipahi, even with veterancy. There's so many Scholars pulled to the front side as well. He's not realizing he's throwing away the military. What was that?
That was, he missed the look, didn't see it as they ran past, and then doubled down on the fight anyways. Man, B really tripled up on the archers there, and he must have known that, or maybe scouted or had some inclination that Janissaries were on the menu. Was able to just completely flip the script there.
Yeah, the issue now as well is that B, with this many Scholars, He can dive TCs, he can dive outposts, he can out-heal that fire very, very easily, the TC fire. And Man-at-Arms and all is nice, but the Ghazi Raiders are actually a unit that can counter that unit out completely. So this is starting to become very dicey here now for kiljardi. He does still have a good amount of income. Whether it's going to be enough, he doesn't have gold actually at the moment. Like his gold access is completely cut off at the moment by all of these walls that B put up. And B actually, I believe, did he? No, he didn't wall the gap there in the mountain.
The gap remains.
Yeah, he's completely cut off the gold.
And the scouts are going through it. Classic.
Oh, Spearman just hitting through wall. Classic as well. He's still trying to go for some raids. He does have most of the important upgrades in on his Sipahi, so at least does have some raiding capabilities here with that. The issue is B is now also going to be about to age up.
I feel like kiljardi needs a lot more siege. The archer mass needs to be taken down.
He doesn't
really
have any gold
he
access.
Needs them.
Like there's 0 gold access for him at the moment in at all, and now House of Learning is going to be coming up.
Yep, all the gold is in them there hills up there. And unfortunately for kiljardi, he's got no access to it right now. Well, technically he has access. There's a side door that we've been talking about. He can get up into the mountains for. But yeah, he needs more siege, and he can't afford it. He just doesn't currently have the gold, and it really is the kind of his way back in. Because if he can get, imagine 2 or 3 mangonels just getting a great shot on those archers, that would even up the game real quick. Unfortunately, though, I don't see that happening here.
The thing is, like, even with, if he was able to use that little mountain pass there to go through, it wouldn't really be enough for him, because there are still all of these points of interest that would tell the, oh, hey, there's villagers out there.
And that's the importance of taking the hills, right? Taking the mountains, is that when you do this, you lock your opponent down without all the resources, and getting the vision and controlling the mountains when this game goes beyond 15 minutes is just so critical. As we see Sipahi just getting the runaround now, unable to do any raiding, but just getting chased to death by the Ghazi Raiders and archers.
Kiljardi did manage to rebuild a lot of his military presence, though. Good couple of men-at-arms now in the mix as well. Though, the first elephant now in production.
And kiljardi has no answer to the elephants, it feels like. I don't see a single unit on his that he has that he can deal with. I mean, a couple knights, but that does not feel very good.
He doesn't. Got 1 mangonel now in the front as well. First Springle just came out. Not really enough.
What do you make of the choice to go Springleds from the MIA over the mangonels?
I mean, Springlets in general, it's nice because you get them out really, really quickly. Just having a lot of units out. And when fighting in a choke point, the Springle also just helps you a lot. Like, even against units that doesn't directly counter. For example, up against the archers. It's not the best, but it's just a very nice thing to have a lot of. Like, you get them out really, really quickly. And if you have a composition like kiljardi, which is mostly cavalry, being able to have a lot of Springles to counter out Spearmen in the front line as well is quite nice, especially since the Springle actually does have a lot of range still. So you're able to outrange the archers as well.
I see the comment in chat, and I agree with Goalie Deckle. Where is our counter at for the Sacred Sites? I'm not quite sure where we are on that. It's been going back and forth. I know that B has had them for a bit. It looks like kiljardi is currently decapping one of them, at least trying to.
Be able to do so as well. We're up to 3 elephants now. And without gold, kiljardi is kind of starved when it comes to an ability to take them down.
Yeah, the elephants are going to spell his doom, and he's pop capped right now. kiljardi's, sitting housed at 140. He cannot produce any more units if he wanted to. He really needs to get some houses down.
There we go. Fight is being taken. Kiljardi.
Oh, the Matters! No!
The Matters being taken down just before the fight.
Oh,
and the Springle
mistake.
goes down. Oh, he didn't pay attention. Again.
There's like no hope here. Even with that mango doing all it can, those elephants, The scholars. I mean, look how many. There's so many scholars. 19 of them.
Yeah,
Elephants
it's just too much.
are
The
just
elephants, the AoE damage, the bonus damage up against the cavalry. kiljardi is trying to step up, trying to snipe down any archers, but it doesn't feel like it's going to be enough. The Mangana, all the damage that it does is just getting out-healed so rapidly. At the end of the day, the elephants, they're still full health. They're pretty much all still full HP. Look at that, the healing comes in.
Oh my goodness.
And just like that, Dumbo's back up to full health. Reattach the torn off leg, and just like that, GG comes in. B able to win the set 3-0 against kiljardi here, and able to move on into the playoffs.
Oof, tough series for kiljardi, but you're going up against one of the world's best in B. Man, that was, and this one really came down to the map, I feel like, in a lot of ways. Just the control of the map that B exerted just made it so kiljardi's position was frankly untenable going on beyond 15 minutes. And you can kind of see the graph agrees. After about 15 minutes, the wheels just start kind of falling off a little bit. Things just get difficult. He gets to Castle Age and then just can't do anything with it because he runs out of gold. And the presence of the military from B was just at its highest right there around 19 to 20 minutes. He was able to take a couple good fights, get up to Castle himself, and then once the elephants are on the field, and that's all she wrote.
Honestly, it was just such a weird game as well. I feel like well, not a weird game, but like I think kiljardi, he played it incredibly well, like the early part, right? Like not letting B get any of these sacred sites for such a long time. He's had a really solid army. Just after the Castle Age transition, the first fight just got taken way too early. He should have instead like focused on raiding more, because B obviously like reinvested a lot into the Feudal Age military, and from there on out, you just kind of want to respect that, maybe get a couple more upgrades in. The first fight being taken just a little bit too early kind of meant that from there on out, kiljardi, he just didn't have the presence anymore on the map after taking just great tactical engagements beforehand, and in the end means that B was able to close out the series there, 3-0.
Yep, we were hoping maybe to see a bit of a comeback from kiljardi. Instead, B once again slams the door. Tough game, and I agree, kiljardi, the first 10-11 minutes of that game, 12 minutes even, did pretty good, did what he needed to do. It came down to the map control that B had, and then the fact that he just had that feudal mass that kiljardi just couldn't quite deal with. He did a good job where he kind of engaged and took out some of those archers, then B just immediately pumping more of those archers out, and then once the Janissaries were swept off the field, it was just kind of over. That just kind of snowballed from there to the point where kiljardi just couldn't get back into it.
Exactly. In the end, that's how the cookie crumbled here for kiljardi. Some really solid showings, I want to say. Especially the last game. I think that one was the closest out of all of them. But I do believe that we do have an interview ready here with 3DB, so we're going to be jumping right into that one. So ladies, further ado, here he is. B, congratulations on winning 3-0 here up against kiljardi and being able to advance into the playoffs. How are you feeling, man?
First of all, I'm glad to see you, Crackerdy. You look awesome. I'm happy to hear you again. That's awesome because I have a sick with the COVID cough, and it was super difficult. I'm extremely happy that I still in the tournament. So I'm in playoff, and we have now second life, right? Because of loser bracket. So that's awesome for me.
So, I mean, first of all, condolences on the COVID cough. I know that's always super tough. Like the cough, it just never goes away. It lasts for forever. It's something that I feel like we all have to deal with at the moment. Once a year. It's very annoying. But once again, congratulations, you played awesome. And also, like, it's great to have you here again, like in the interview desk. It's definitely been a while, and man, you played these games absolutely amazingly. I just want to say, like, it's always so cool to see you play Age of Empires 4 whenever you compete in these tournaments, and especially like watching that second game with Japan versus Juji's Legacy. I feel like that was such an awesome read from you there, being able to just deny the dog play from kiljardi time and time again, because I think like from playing with Anaton probably, because he was the one that I think or maybe you as well, sure, that did it quite early on with like the Juji fast feudal age and then trying to drop the dog. Those two spearmen completely ruined that gameplay move, and that was just incredible to see there. And I want to ask, like, that must have been something that you practiced, or at least something that you had in mind, right?
So first of all, Kiljardi already showed that strategy in my first series against him. So that's why I was already prepared for that cheese. And yeah, I took that note with Barak from Annotant, and it, I think, saves my series. So that was very good. Yeah.
Hmm. I want to quickly get your input on that last game, because that one was, I want to say, like the closest game in the series here between the Ottomans and the Delhi there. I think it's always so difficult for me personally. I'm probably sure for quite a lot of other players as well, to judge like when you can really move out as Delhi and try and contest these sacred sites. And this one, I think at the earliest you went out like 16 minutes into the game to start contesting the sacred sites. How do you usually judge just exactly how you can move out? Because that was like just like the expert timing there when you were able to move out.
I think problem that everyone just forget that Delhi OP because of no cost upgrades, and you don't need sacred sites to be the strongest Civ still. So you can wait like the whole game and it's still okay. Especially when now we have pro scouts, and at that map, if you saw, sometimes a lot of barrels in one place. So when Delhi just plays one mill and one tower, it's insane to boost the economy, which already is broken because of no cost. So I think if Delhi survives to Castle Age and get the first elephants, there is no problem to win. So I'm happy that Kiljardi did not fight with me at 15 minutes, I guess, because at that timer you have a lot of advantages with Mechtares, right? And Sipah is still better than Ghazi in huge fights, so it was a good experience for both of us, I guess.
Absolutely. All right, B, once again, congratulations. You're now going to be able to advance into the playoffs. So life is now going to be a little bit easier with that second life chance that you'll be having there with the double elimination bracket. Once again, thank you so much, B. It's been a pleasure watching you play again today, and we'll be seeing plenty more of you in the playoffs. Until then, have a great evening.
Yeah, bye-bye, Crackly. Thank you.
See you, B.